There are words that carry within them a vibration of infinite supply. Words are not idle sounds. They are keys that unlock the invisible vaults of abundance. The universe is a treasury overflowing with gold, opportunities, and divine provision. Yet, most wander through life with empty hands because they have never been taught the great secret. The spoken word is the bridge between thought and manifestation. What is affirmed with faith becomes flesh, and what is spoken with conviction sets unseen forces into motion. When you declare a word 3 times, you establish it in the Trinity of being, mind, body, and spirit. 3 is the number of completion, the sacred seal that anchors a decree into form. To speak a word of supply once is to plant a seed. To speak it twice is to water that seed. To speak it thrice is to call forth the harvest, commanding every money door to swing open in obedience to divine law. Money is not a cold, lifeless object. It is energy that responds to command. It comes where it is welcomed, it multiplies where it is blessed, and it lingers where it is given purpose. Many chase after money with anxiety, only to watch it slip through their fingers. But those who stand still in faith, those who speak with authority, find that money comes rushing to them from unexpected channels. It is not striving but declaring that brings supply. Every locked door in life is only an illusion of limitation. Fear paints barriers, doubt fastens chains, and unbelief seals gates. But a word of power dissolves the illusion, shatters the chains, and flings wide the gates of plenty. Imagine standing before a great golden door. Tall, radiant, magnificent. Behind it lies your inheritance, wealth, ease, and perfect supply. The door is not locked by chance, but by thought. And thought can be overturned by the authority of the spoken decree. Say this 3 times, and as the words leave your lips, see the hinges turn. Hear the creak of the mighty door swinging wide, and watch the treasures of the universe pour forth to meet your need. Not tomorrow, not in some distant future, but now. For there is no delay in divine substance. Supply is immediate when faith is absolute. The world has taught that money comes only by toil, by struggle, by endless effort. But truth whispers another law. What belongs to you by divine right cannot be withheld. What is yours will arrive with perfect timing, provided you align with the law of affirmation. Speak the word, and every obstacle must bow. Speak the word, and channels of wealth appear in perfect order. Speak the word, and the floodgates of abundance release their flow. Stand tall, speak boldly, and repeat with unshakable faith. 3 times seals the decree. 3 times summons the current of prosperity. 3 times opens every money door, and you will walk through into the life of freedom, joy, and supply that has always been yours by right. The spoken word creates doors of supply, for every utterance is a seed cast into the soil of the unseen. When a word is spoken, it does not vanish into the air as many believe. It travels, it vibrates, it stirs currents in the invisible substance of life. Words are forces, clothed with sound, and sound is creative. The ancient law tells us that in the beginning was the Word, and all things came into being through it. If creation itself was born from the spoken word, then the same principle must govern every act of manifestation in our daily lives. To speak is to summon, to declare is to shape, and to affirm is to command doors to swing wide where none seem to exist. There are doors unseen by human eyes, doors that hold opportunities, wealth, and supply. They do not open through striving, they do not yield to worry, and they are not forced by human will. They open in response to the vibration of faith carried upon the spoken word. To speak with conviction is to knock with certainty. And the knocking of faith is never ignored by the great storehouse of the universe. When a word of abundance leaves the lips of one who believes, doors that were rusted shut by doubt begin to loosen, and gates bolted by fear begin to tremble at the sound. Consider how often careless words scatter poverty and limitation across a life. One says, "I cannot afford this," and the door to that very desire closes. Another repeats, "Money never stays with me," and the door of financial stability is shut. Still another declares, "Opportunities never come my way." And the universe, being obedient to command, withholds the very opportunities that were hovering close. Words do not fall idly to the ground, they are builders or destroyers, allies or enemies, keys or chains. To misuse them is to imprison oneself, but to master them is to become the architect of supply. The word of lack breeds lack, but the word of plenty brings abundance rushing in. A man who says, "I am always provided for," builds a doorway where a wall once stood. A woman who affirms, "Every good thing seeks me out," finds supply streaming toward her in unimagined ways. Words of faith turn the unseen gears of divine law, and the law has no choice but to obey. The spoken decree is a blueprint impressed upon the substance of life, and life takes pleasure in reproducing whatever image is stamped upon it. The voice is an instrument more powerful than gold, more valuable than jewels, for it can create both gold and jewels. To bless money with words is to magnetize it, to call forth more of its kind. To curse it with fear, resentment, or worry is to drive it away. How many complain about bills, about debts, about lack, not realizing that their very complaints are commands being obeyed? When lips murmur, "This is too much for me," they sign a decree of insufficiency. When they cry, "I will never get ahead," they seal the doors of progress shut. Yet when lips boldly declare, "Money flows to me in perfect ways," the universe begins to arrange itself to make it so. The word does not require shouting, nor does it demand elaborate phrasing. Its power lies not in volume or ornament, but in faith and certainty. A whisper of truth carries more weight than a thunder of doubt. One can stand quietly, speak with conviction, and watch as doors swing open without struggle. The secret lies in alignment. The spoken word must be united with belief, and belief must be free of fear. When the inner conviction supports the outer decree, nothing can resist the unfolding of supply. There are those who wander the earth seeking methods, systems, and schemes for prosperity, yet they overlook the greatest instrument already in their possession, their own word. Every man and woman walks with a key upon their tongue. Some use it unknowingly to lock themselves into scarcity, while others use it knowingly to open pathways to wealth. The universe makes no distinction between words spoken in jest or words spoken in earnest. It obeys both. That is why vigilance is required, for even a casual remark can create doors one did not intend to open. The wise guard their lips, choosing words as carefully as gold coins, knowing each word carries value and power. The spoken word is a decree issued to the infinite, and the infinite responds with precision. If one declares, "Doors of money open for me," the law moves unseen to arrange circumstances, contacts, and opportunities to fulfill that decree. If one repeats with faith, "I am guided to my supply," the inner compass is stirred, leading step by step toward provision. Every door that opens is a reflection of words once spoken, and every closed door is a shadow of words once allowed to linger. To speak words of supply is to align with the endless stream of abundance already flowing. It is to acknowledge that lack is only an illusion born of false words and false beliefs. The universe contains no lack. It only contains abundance waiting to be summoned. The key is in the mouth, and the mouth directs the current of life. When the lips utter words of gratitude, words of blessing, words of faith, the current rushes forward with strength. When the lips utter words of doubt, complaint, or fear, the current halts and the doors of supply remain hidden. Thus the spoken word is both seed and key, both law and force. Each word is a declaration that sets in motion unseen activities, aligning people, places, and events to fulfill its vibration. One does not need to push upon doors, nor beg for them to open. The command of the spoken word is sufficient. Doors obey voice, for voice carries the tone of creation itself. Those who master their words master their supply, for in every utterance lies the authority to create or to destroy, to open or to shut, to release or to restrain. Threefold repetition seals manifestation, for the universe moves in sacred rhythm, and the number 3 carries the vibration of completion. One may speak a word once, and it begins its journey, like a seed dropped into fertile ground. Spoken twice, the word takes root, drawing strength from unseen currents, sending its tendrils into the soil of spirit. But when spoken thrice, it rises into form, crowned with authority. wrapped in certainty, sealed by divine order. The repetition is not vain, nor is it empty, it is the rhythm by which the invisible becomes visible, the cadence by which doors swing open, the echo that awakens the sleeping forces of supply. Every law of life recognizes the power of three: morning, noon and night, past, present, and future birth, growth and fulfillment. The circle of life itself moves in threes, and so does the circle of manifestation. A single utterance begins, a second affirms, a third completes. The word is established by three witnesses: the mind that conceives, the lips that declare, and the spirit that seals. When the same decree passes through these channels thrice, it is no longer a mere sound, it is a command etched into the fabric of reality, a vibration stamped into the infinite substance that surrounds all. Consider the difference between a casual remark and a decree repeated with intention. One who mutters, "I am prosperous," once, without focus, may sow a seed that drifts in the wind. But one who gathers themselves in thought, who speaks the same word 3 times with conviction, anchors it into the Trinity of being. The mind hears it and believes, the body resonates with it and acts, the spirit embraces it and moves unseen forces into alignment. Threefold repetition ties the decree to every level of existence, leaving no room for doubt or contradiction. Repetition impresses upon the subconscious, and the subconscious governs the flow of life. The subconscious mind is like fertile earth. It accepts whatever is planted within it, whether weeds or flowers, whether lack or supply. To speak once may drop a seed, but to speak thrice waters it, presses it down, and ensures it cannot be stolen away by fear or doubt. The subconscious thrives upon repetition, and so the decree repeated 3 times is written upon it with unerasable ink. Soon, the outer world conforms to the inner command. For the subconscious directs circumstances as faithfully as soil brings forth the harvest of whatever was sown. When doors appear locked, when opportunities seem withheld, one must remember that the lock is often forged from unbelief. A single declaration may rattle the handle. A second may loosen the latch, but the third spoken with faith bursts the door wide open. The law cannot resist the Trinity of command, for threefold repetition reflects the very nature of divine structure. The heavens respond to it, the earth echoes it, and the soul feels it as complete. It is not the multitude of words that manifests, but the sacred seal of 3. Even in ordinary life, the power of 3 is acknowledged. A promise is repeated thrice to assure its truth. A vow spoken 3 times becomes unbreakable. Ceremonies are built upon triple declarations, for the soul recognizes the authority of 3. This is no superstition, but a reflection of divine order. The invisible responds more quickly when aligned with eternal principles, and the principle of 3 is woven into the very fabric of creation. To declare a word of abundance 3 times is to harmonize with that eternal rhythm, to summon the law with its own language. Some struggle because they scatter their affirmations like chaff in the wind, uttering 100 different decrees without focus or faith. But one who understands the secret of 3 knows that a single decree, spoken thrice with conviction, carries more power than endless scattered words. The triple word is not noise, it is command. It rings like a bell through the corridors of the unseen, calling forth supply from every corner. The universe hears and obeys, for the law cannot resist a decree stamped 3 times with faith. The triple utterance strengthens belief, and belief is the foundation of manifestation. Doubt trembles before repetition, for the mind cannot argue against what it hears steadily reinforced. The first utterance may face resistance, the second begins to dissolve it, and the third leaves no trace of it. What remains is certainty, and certainty is the magnet that draws manifestation swiftly into view. To repeat thrice is to overwrite the inner record, to silence the voice of fear, to replace the script of lack with the script of abundance. Imagine standing before the great door of supply, speaking your decree once and watching the key slide into the lock. Speak it again, and hear the tumblers begin to turn, as though the mechanism is waking from long slumber. Speak it the 3rd time, and the door opens, wide and unresisting, revealing treasures waiting to be claimed. This is the imagery of threefold repetition, not as metaphor alone, but as the law itself in action. Each repetition strengthens the vibration until the universe has no choice but to comply. The spoken word is power, but the repeated spoken word is sealed power. One word carries the spark, two carry the flame, three carry the fire that cannot be quenched. Those who understand this do not speak idly, for they know that every triple decree is a creation set in motion. Whether for good or for lack, the law does not discriminate, it only obeys. That is why vigilance is required, to ensure that what is spoken thrice is always aligned with abundance, with faith, with joy, with supply. Threefold repetition seals manifestation, because it engraves the decree upon every layer of being. It enters the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious. It harmonizes thought, word, and spirit. It unites desire, belief, and expectation. When these three are fused by repetition, no door can remain closed, no opportunity can remain hidden, no supply can be withheld. The law of life itself bends to the triple word, for it is the signature of completion, the stamp of finality, the seal of power. Money is energy that obeys command, for it is not a mere object to be grasped, counted, or hoarded. It is a living current flowing through the universe, responsive to the vibration of thought and the authority of spoken words. Many view money as a finite resource, believing it must be chased, earned through struggle, or wrested from the world by force. Yet this is a misconception born of limitation. Money is not bound by human scarcity. It is a force, an invisible stream of abundance, and like any current, it moves where it is welcomed, multiplied where it is blessed, and restrained only by mental barriers. Those who understand this law become masters of supply, while those who ignore it remain victims of circumstance, wondering why provision eludes them despite tireless effort. Every thought regarding money carries energy. The mind that believes in lack sends out a vibration that repels, while the mind that affirms abundance emits a current that attracts. One who murmurs, "I can never get ahead," unknowingly issues a command to the universe to withhold, to constrict, and to delay. Conversely, one who declares, "Money flows to me easily and constantly," speaks into existence a current that bends the unseen laws to deliver that very supply. The universe responds not to wishes but to commands, and it obeys words spoken with clarity, faith, and authority. Money, being energy, moves in obedience to these currents, seeking the direction given it. The spoken word is a conductor, and the mind is the generator. Together they create a current that the universe cannot resist. When a word of supply is spoken with conviction, it vibrates in harmony with the law of abundance. The current begins to flow, often subtly at first, appearing as opportunities, coincidences, or sudden ideas. It is not by chance that bills are paid, that unexpected gifts arrive, or that opportunities appear in perfect timing. Each manifestation is the energy of money answering the command issued by thought and word. It obeys silently, perfectly, and without question, but it requires clear direction and the removal of resistance. Resistance arises from fear, doubt, and disbelief. Many pray for supply yet speak words of limitation, such as worry about bills, complaints about lack, or lamentations about the economy. Each negative expression forms a barrier, damming the current, diverting its flow, and locking doors that might have opened with simple affirmation. The universe is impartial, it obeys both fear and faith. If one commands with doubt, the current will scatter or stall. If one commands with confidence, the current accelerates, converging circumstances, people, and opportunities to meet the need expressed. Money responds not to hope, but to unwavering expectation. Gratitude is a magnet within this flow. When energy of money encounters the vibration of appreciation, it is drawn closer, eager to be multiplied and used. One who habitually acknowledges blessings, even small ones, reinforces the current and magnifies its power. Words of gratitude spoken aloud intensify the attraction, calling forth greater abundance. The universe takes delight in responding to gratitude, sending more not only as reward but as a natural consequence of energy alignment. Therefore, speaking words of thankfulness for the supply already received is as important as affirming the supply one seeks. Action aligned with word is essential. Money obeys command, but it also requires channels to move through. The word directs energy, but the hand's mind and spirit provide the pathway. Ideas, inspired actions, and timely decisions are the vessels through which money flows. To speak a decree and remain idle is to plant seed in unprepared soil. To speak a decree and follow inner guidance is to irrigate, nourish, and protect that seed until it grows into visible abundance. The law does not remove the need for intelligent effort, but it multiplies and accelerates the results when words and actions align. Visualizing the current helps to strengthen it. Imagine money as a living river, and your words as the channel shaping its course. Speak your decree. Feel the flow, see the river widen and deepen, and sense the energy moving toward you with certainty. Every repetition of the decree reinforces the channel, ensuring the current is unobstructed, powerful, and irresistible. The imagination is not mere fancy, it is the laboratory of manifestation, and through it, the energy of money is guided and focused into tangible reality. Fear-based attitudes scatter money energy. Anxiety about scarcity, obsessive worry over bills, or resentment toward others' wealth creates turbulence in the current. Such energy repels rather than attracts. The mind must be retrained to speak only in terms of abundance, security, and expectation. Affirmations like, "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways," or "I am a magnet for abundance," are not idle statements. They are instructions to the energy of the universe, and energy always obeys instruction. The more clarity and faith in the statement, the swifter and more assured the response. Money energy moves more swiftly when freed from attachment. Clinging, hoarding, or fear of loss creates tension in the current, and tension resists flow. When one trusts the law and allows money to circulate, it multiplies. To give generously is to open channels, and to receive graciously is to welcome them. Energy moves where it is invited, and by releasing control, one strengthens the current rather than impeding it. The act of speaking affirmations, combined with trust and openness, allows money to obey effortlessly, as a river finds its natural path to the sea. Persistence is essential. The energy of money does not always appear immediately, but it responds faithfully to continued, consistent command. Repetition of affirmations, the cultivation of faith, the alignment of thought, word, and action all ensure that the current remains strong and directed. Patience is not passive. It is active trust, a continued acknowledgement of the law, and the confident expectation that energy will obey. The more persistent and faithful the word, the more the current gathers momentum, sweeping aside obstacles, dissolving resistance, and carrying abundance directly into manifestation. Money as energy obeys command without hesitation. It recognizes authority, vibrates to intention, and flows to harmony. By understanding it as living current rather than mere object, one gains mastery over supply. Words, thoughts, gratitude, trust, visualization, aligned action, and persistence all work together to direct the flow. Every spoken decree, every imagined scene, every aligned choice strengthens the current, and the law moves silently, perfectly, and abundantly to bring every declared need into visible reality. Do you want me to expand keynote, no. 4 into 1,000 words next, keeping the same style? Fear locks doors, faith opens them, for the human heart is a magnet, and its predominant emotion determines the flow of life. Fear is heavy, dense, and constrictive. It builds walls where there should be doors, and creates barriers where paths should lie open. Every thought of worry, every whisper of doubt, every mental picture of limitation acts as a key turning in the lock, but turning it in the wrong direction. The door to opportunity, to abundance, to joy, to supply responds to the vibration sent forth. Fear, like a shadow, closes the passage, dims the light, and resists movement. Faith, by contrast, is light, expansive, and magnetic. It opens doors effortlessly, allowing currents of supply, inspiration, and fortune to flow unhindered. Fear is born of disbelief, of imagining lack as reality, of assuming that circumstances are fixed and immutable. Many live their lives chained by fear, unaware that the chains are self-forged, anxiety over bills, concern over job security, apprehension about the future. These thoughts form walls that are invisible yet unyielding. Each fearful thought adds another plank to the door that separates a person from the very supply they seek. The law of life responds not to reason but to vibration. If fear dominates, the current of opportunity and abundance is blocked, and the door remains shut. The mind may plan, the hands may labor, yet the flow is hindered by the subtle but powerful force of disbelief. Faith, in contrast, is the master key. It is not blind optimism, nor is it a wishful hope. It is a firm, unwavering trust in the invisible law of abundance. Faith sees the end result before it appears, believes in its inevitability, and speaks in terms of certainty. A person of faith does not plead for supply. They declare it. They do not wait for proof, they act in expectation. Faith aligns the mind, the word, and the spirit, creating a vibration that unlocks doors that fear would hold closed. It bends circumstances, influences events, and draws people and opportunities into harmony with the decree issued. The spoken word amplified by faith has extraordinary power. To say, "I am open to abundance," is not enough if the words are whispered with doubt. But to declare it with unwavering faith, feeling every syllable as truth, is to strike the lock and turn the key with authority. Repetition strengthens this effect, embedding it deep into the subconscious mind, which governs the unseen mechanisms of life. Fear dissolves in the presence of repeated, steadfast faith, and the door once closed swings wide as the unseen forces move to fulfill the decree. Fear operates through imagination, conjuring images of lack, loss, and limitation. It shows the mind doors that are impossible to open, pathways that are blocked, and opportunities that are beyond reach. But imagination is also the tool of faith. Faith envisions the door open, sees the path clear, and senses the supply flowing freely. It uses the same faculty that fear misuses, but directs it with authority. The mind does not distinguish between imagined reality and visible reality. It responds to the strength and clarity of the inner picture. Therefore, the door opens to those who imagine it open with unwavering belief. Faith moves not only through thought but through action. While fear freezes and hesitates, faith prompts steps aligned with the declared intention. Each action, guided by trust in the law of abundance, serves as a reinforcement of the vibration. Faith acts as both magnet and channel. It draws the current of supply and provides a pathway for its manifestation. Doors that seem insurmountable to the fearful are crossed effortlessly by those who walk with confidence, knowing the law bends to obedience and alignment. Gratitude amplifies faith, for when one acknowledges the supply already present, the vibration becomes stronger and more magnetic. A heart filled with appreciation does not fear lack, it trusts that supply is constant and sufficient. Words of gratitude spoken aloud reinforce the current of faith, opening doors faster and more completely. The law of attraction responds not merely to desire, but to conviction and joy. Fear cannot coexist with true gratitude, one displaces the other. Where fear dwells, doors remain locked. Where faith and gratitude dwell, doors swing wide and freely. Fear often arises from comparison, from measuring oneself against others, or from past failures. But faith disregards limitation, recognizing that the law of abundance is infinite. One's supply is not diminished by another's prosperity. There is always more flowing, always more available. By affirming this truth, speaking it, and feeling it, the mind releases fear and opens the way. Opportunities, once invisible, appear, resources, once unseen, come into view. The door that was locked by worry opens as faith asserts its presence. The mind is a doorway, and the emotion that dominates it sets the tone for life. Fear contracts, closes, and limits. Faith expands, opens, and liberates. Words, thoughts, feelings, and actions must all align with faith to keep doors open. Repeated affirmation, visualization of supply, and trust in the invisible law build an energy field around the individual that repels limitation and attracts abundance. The power lies not in force but in alignment. The less resistance, the easier the doors open. Even when circumstances appear impossible, faith continues to act. It sees beyond appearances, beyond temporary conditions, beyond human judgment. Fear sees walls, faith sees gateways. Fear sees scarcity, faith sees an endless current. Fear focuses on the obstacle, faith focuses on the law and the inevitable outcome. In this way, faith works silently, persistently, and irresistibly to unlock doors, to dissolve barriers, and to guide supply where it is needed. The spoken word, coupled with faith, is the instrument by which doors respond. One may declare, "I am open to all good," and with feeling and belief, each word becomes a key turning in the lock. Doors respond to vibration, not struggle. The energy of faith resonates through the unseen currents, calling circumstances, opportunities, and people into alignment. Fear is displaced, hesitation disappears, and the path is made clear. Faith does not coerce, it commands through alignment, trust, and certainty. Persistence strengthens the effect. Faith repeated, reaffirmed, and acted upon creates a momentum that fear cannot resist. Each day of steadfast trust adds weight to the current. Each affirmation reinforces the vibration. Each visualized success solidifies the reality in the unseen world. The door that once required great effort opens naturally, effortlessly, and completely. Faith alone, maintained and declared, transforms the invisible into the visible, the impossible into the possible, and the closed door into an open gateway. What is yours by divine right cannot be withheld, for the universe operates under laws that are precise, just, and unerring. There is an inherent order to all things, a pattern woven into the very fabric of existence, and each individual is entitled to receive according to the divinely established measure of their need and purpose. Scarcity is not a law of life. It is a misconception of the mind. Lack exists only where belief allows it, and supply is always present, waiting to be recognized, claimed, and used. What belongs to you by right flows to you naturally, for the law does not discriminate, the law does not withhold, and the law cannot be tricked or circumvented. Recognition of this truth is the first step toward manifestation. Many people labor tirelessly, striving for supply that is already theirs by natural law, unaware that the obstacle is not in the world but in the mind. Fear, doubt, and disbelief act as barriers, creating the illusion that provision must be earned through struggle, rather than claimed through understanding and alignment. When the mind aligns with the law, acknowledging that what is divinely assigned cannot be denied, a current of certainty begins to flow. Every thought, every word, and every action becomes a signal to the universe that the individual is ready to receive. The spoken word is a vital instrument in claiming what is yours. To say, "This is mine by divine right," is to assert authority over circumstances, and to declare alignment with universal law. The words themselves carry a vibration that sets unseen forces in motion, arranging people, opportunities, and resources to fulfill the decree. The law of abundance responds not to hesitancy, but to clarity. The more precise, confident, and unwavering the declaration, the more efficiently the law acts to bring supply into visible reality. Belief amplifies this process. It is not enough to speak the words mechanically. They must be felt, accepted, and known as absolute truth. When one truly believes that what belongs to them cannot be withheld, no outer condition, no temporary obstacle, no opposing circumstance can prevent the flow. The law obeys conviction, and conviction overrides fear. Those who trust implicitly are like magnets. They draw to themselves the channels, the doors, and the currents that deliver the supply that is rightfully theirs. Doubt is the enemy of manifestation. Each thought of unworthiness, hesitation, or comparison acts as a barrier, slowing the current and obscuring the path. The law does not deny supply, the individual does, by failing to recognize and claim it. By continuously affirming the rightness of receiving, by maintaining unwavering belief, and by speaking declarations of entitlement, one reinforces the channel through which provision flows. The universe responds to readiness and openness, and when these conditions are met, there is no power capable of withholding what is destined. Gratitude strengthens the recognition of rightful supply. When one acknowledges even a small portion of what is already theirs, it establishes a current that attracts more. Gratitude acts as a signal to the law. I see, I accept, I am ready. Every acknowledgement of existing blessings magnifies the flow, ensuring that the channels remain open and that the door cannot remain closed. Fear, lack, or comparison have no place in this state. They weaken the current and obscure the truth that supply is constant, infinite, and indivisible. Faith is the engine that moves the law into action. When combined with knowledge of divine entitlement, faith becomes irresistible. To act in expectation, to speak in certainty, and to visualize possession as already accomplished aligns every level of being with the reality of supply. Actions are guided, opportunities present themselves, and resources converge to fulfill the decree. Faith requires no struggle, it requires alignment, trust, an acknowledgement that the universe is naturally inclined to provide what is already designated by divine law. The right to receive is inherent and unalterable. No human action, no circumstance, and no opposing force can prevent what is yours from reaching you. The law moves in accordance with divine order, and the individual's recognition of that order activates the flow. Supply comes in expected ways and in unexpected ways, through avenues previously unseen, by people and circumstances orchestrated by the unseen hand. To resist or doubt the flow is to slow it, to accept, claim, and affirm is to accelerate it. Visualization plays a vital role in claiming rightful supply. To see oneself already in possession of what is destined, to feel the joy, the ease, and the freedom it brings, is to send a clear signal to the law. The mind does not distinguish between imagined reality and experienced reality. It responds to the intensity and clarity of the inner picture. By maintaining a vivid, confident, and joyous mental image of rightful possession, one reinforces the vibration, ensuring that no obstacle can stand in the way of what is divinely assigned. Generosity and openness also strengthen the flow. The law responds to circulation. When one is willing to give and share, they demonstrate trust in the abundance of the universe. Supply cannot be withheld when it is acknowledged as infinite, and when one acts as a conscious participant in its flow. Giving does not diminish the stream, it confirms its vitality and reinforces the law. Those who hoard, fear, or cling too tightly create artificial blockage, whereas those who align with generosity experience continual reinforcement of their rightful supply. Persistence ensures that the law's response remains uninterrupted. There are no delays in divine provision. Supply flows according to readiness and alignment. Repeated affirmation, consistent visualization, and steady faith reinforce the current, clearing any residual obstacles of doubt or fear. The more persistent the alignment, the more the flow gathers momentum, converging circumstances, ideas, and people in perfect orchestration. Nothing can prevent the fulfillment of what is rightfully yours once you recognize, claim, and act in accordance with it. The law is impartial and exact. It does not withhold out of malice or forgetfulness. It operates according to principles beyond human perception. Recognition, claim, and alignment are the only requirements. Words, thought, feeling, and action must be in harmony with the reality of entitlement. Every declaration, every act of faith, every thought of abundance reinforces the current, ensuring that doors remain open and that supply flows unobstructed. Those who know this secret experience life differently. They walk in expectation rather than anxiety, in certainty rather than doubt, and in alignment with a law that never fails. Supply, opportunity, wealth, and blessings all respond to the recognition of divine right. When one speaks, "What is mine cannot be withheld," the vibration sets every law into harmonious motion. Channels open, currents converge, and doors swing wide. The unseen works tirelessly to deliver what is due, orchestrating people, circumstances, and events into perfect alignment. The key is the unwavering knowledge of entitlement, the clarity of declaration, and the faith to allow the law to operate unimpeded.